Okay, hello everyone. This is gonna be my first video. I'm gonna make a review on the Kemper and the POD HD500. So, if any of you had the old POD HD and now you have bought a Kemper, this is kind of way to show up the possibilities of the POD as a Midi controller for the Kemper. And also there's a way to use all the presets, all the sounds that you want from the POD HD. So let's check. I've got the Kemper plugged in. As you can see here, I can switch any of the 8 effects with my POD. I can switch them on and off. The preset I'm using with the POD, I'm not changing the rigs with these different switches here. What I have is a total control of all 8 effects of the POD. For changing between rigs, I normally do it through here and then press these triggers, but you know, normally I only use 1 amp per song, so I just can change it at the beginning and then control all of the effects from the Kemper. There is also the possibility on the POD HD to switch 1, 2 or up to the 8 effects with just one switch. So in case I want to switch on the booster and the delay, I can just do it pressing one of the switches. So I can do that with any of the switches available here, even the tuner. I've got the tuner in one of those. So as you can see on the Kemper, it switches on the tuner. I've got the top tempo, and I've also got the, as you can see on the pedal, I control the volume, and if I press it hard enough, I have the wah, I'm using the wah that already comes on the Kemper, and as you know, whenever I let it go, the wah switches off. But what I'm doing is on the Kemper, I plugged it in on the first effect after the amp section. I put on the loop section. So what I did was to send the direct signal to my POD and then return it from one of the channels of the POD to the alternative input. That means that with just one switch I can use any of the effects that the POD gives me. For example, here I'm not using much effects, and as you can see, with just one switch I have my amp going on, and here I have a crazy growler kind of synthesizer. Can just go to any of the presets I have. Let me check. For example, here I have the amp again. This is a Pink Taco by Michael Breed. And if I switch on the loop, this is the kind of sound I can get. See? All these effects are activated by just one switch. That brings the Kemper a brand new set of possibilities that as far as I know, I don't have with the Behringer Midi pedal board, and I'm not sure, I haven't tested the Kemper pedal board, the Kemper remote, but I'm not sure if that remote from Kemper can do this. As far as I know, it just can't do it. So what I can also do, haven't got any preset here, but as far as I know, I can do a separate channel for a guitar and a separate channel, for example, for a mic. So if I have an acoustic guitar, I could use it. If I want to process some kind of my voice for singing, I can just plug the microphone into the pod, put some compressors, maybe some delays, some reverbs, some preamps, and then send it with a totally different signal directly to my PA. So I could be controlling my Kemper, I could be using the pod effects, and I can also use some effects for my voice, because my singing is so terrible. So as you can see here, once again, just have my amp. This is, for example, you can switch on the distortion here. You can switch on the delay. Switch off the delay, switch off the distortion. It's very easy to program the pod through the software, free software that you can download from the pod web page. Here I have the controllers. As you can see here, I can assign the foot switch 1 to any, for example, to any of the effects. So I could be switching one or more effects with just one step. So I know the quality of this video is really bad, but I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I was just trying to show the possibilities that you have with the Kemper Profiler and the POD HD500 that you're not using because you've got your new Kemper, but this brings a lot of possibilities to the Kemper Profiler. Thank you, and see you at some concert.